Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Conant here today with our second lesson about poetry. By the way, this is going to be a two-part video, so after you finish watching the first part, please be sure to stay tuned for part two. Today, we're talking figurative language. And you may have heard this term before, or it could be new to you. So I want to introduce us to our teaching point. Today, boys and girls, I want to teach you that readers look for poetic passages in everything they read. They notice when an author has figurative language, intense imagery, or repetition. And when they see figurative language, they stop and ask themselves, how does this help me understand something about what this character or this book is really about? So let's get to it. Today, I created for you a reference chart, and this would be a really great thing for you to print, to copy, or to have handy with you over the next several days and throughout the course of our poetry unit. You're going to need it and reference it a lot. So, this might be a good time to pause the video, print yourself a copy, and make sure you put it somewhere quite safe for you to be able to access anytime you need it. Let's get started. What is figurative language? Well, figurative language is a type of writing technique that authors use to help convey meaning to the reader. The most common types of figurative language are comparisons. You've probably heard of these two before, the simile and the metaphor. Both of them compare, but a simile compares two things using the word like or as. This helps the reader make connections between things that are familiar to things that are not. For example, the room was as cold as ice. Well, since I wasn't in the room to know what it was like, it helps me to know that ice, which is something I'm familiar with, is very cold, and the room, which is something I'm not familiar with, was just like it. It gives me, as the reader, a better understanding of what that room or that setting is like. A metaphor is similar. It is also a comparison, but it's using the word is and says that something is something else. Therefore, it makes it a stronger comparison than a simile. It does help me connect between things that are familiar with those that are not. For example, the elephant was a billboard blocking all of my view. Well, I know that a billboard is very large, that it covers a huge portion of land near a highway, and that it can really block your view, especially if you're trying to see something ahead. So, by comparing a billboard, something that I'm very familiar with, to the elephant that may be at a zoo or on a safari, helps me to understand exactly how large, how still, and how obstructive that elephant is to my view. And because I'm using a comparison with the word is, I'm saying that the elephant is a billboard. It has all of its characteristics, and that the two are not just similar, but are very much intertwined. Another example is the cat was a flash racing through the house. Well, cats really aren't flashes of lightning, but if you know how fast light travels, you can say that this cat just wasn't quick, but really quick, running and racing through the house. Another type of figurative language that we talk a lot about is personification. This is when we give a non human object human characteristics. For example, lightning. Lightning isn't a human being, but if I say lightning reached its harsh arms across the sky, now I'm creating an image. I'm giving lightning characteristics and traits that can help me to understand how lightning plays a role in this particular setting or poem or story. So, boys and girls, this is the end of the first half of our lesson today. Please go ahead and end this video and then immediately start part two so we can finish talking about the rest of our figurative language elements.